Hi everyone, welcome. I am Kelly. I'm going to make myself some coasters for Christmas. They're pretty easy to get done, so it won't take me very long. I pretty much have the definitive way figured out of how I want to do this. Part of it was from watching a video from Cheryl from the sewing channel, and I used her method for sewing on the binding with a watermelon mug rug back in the summer, so I'll link that video in my description box for this video. And part of it was sort of an accidental find when I made myself the Halloween coasters I did recently. I don't know that I filmed them though, because I just kind of whipped them off really quickly, but I'll go back and check my playlist, and if there's a video for it, I'll show you. But this is why I thought I would do it, because I'm going to combine the two methods, and hopefully it'll work fine. Now, what I've always done, and that's not a change, is I cut my squares for the top to be 5.5 inches. And I'm going to have 3 of these greenish gold ones, and 3 of the whitish gold ones. Pieces of scrap batting that are the same size, and pieces for the backing and binding that are 8 inches square.
Hi YouTube. Before we get to the footage of how I make these coasters now, pretty much my definitive way, my earrings for the day are these little presents. I like these ones. They're fun. Now, back to the quilting.
Because these pieces of fabric are small, I stick everything together with a little blast of 505. Works good enough. Like usual when I do coasters, I just did lines of quilting across diagonal each way. These ones were quilted with green thread, and the other ones were quilted with cream thread. What I have done with these, like that watermelon mug rug, is do a line of stitching along that side and the other side, but only to opposite side, not the ends. I'm using red thread, and on the back it just looks like another line of stitching. It's helpful, I find, to have 2 sides anchored down and not flopping around, so you can finish up the ends a little bit better. Now, the accidental part, when I was doing the Halloween mug rugs, I usually trim off this so it's 1 inch all around. I just totally forgot. I just carried on making them, and I found when I was doing the other 2 sides, it was somewhat more helpful to just be able to wiggle the miters into position better. Let me just see if I can show you what I did on this one here. It's a bit hard to see, and I've clipped them down. So when you have a bit more leeway to jiggle around your folds, you can kind of wiggle it into position better, and if I need a little bit more fabric to make the miter better, I just pull a smidgen out with my stiletto, or I tuck some in just so that it makes the corner better. I will show you what, as I do this one more time, just so you can see a little bit better, but that's kind of what I was aiming for, to have them as close as possible, just to make sure that they don't look too out of whack and are pretty good. Once you have 2 sides sewn like this, then you'd finish up the ends. Fold the corners in like that. I usually press at this step, just to keep everything tidy. Fold it up again, just about to the edge of where the coaster is. I usually press again, and then you flip it over. And here's where the wiggling around comes in, which I've already done on this part, and I'll show you. I folded up this one, and it came out nice. It looks pretty good there near the corner. That looks fine to me. Looks like a pretty good miter there. It's a little bit wobbly on this corner, but it looks like 45 degrees. I think it's fine, and it matches up decently there, so I put a clip on it. Now this one isn't as good. There's always seemed to be some that work better than others for whatever reason. But where the finagling comes in is, stiletto comes in handy possibly, is you can take more of a fold, or less of a fold and like I would sometimes wet my finger and just roll it downwards a little bit more so that this part isn't as big. And then you just kind of wiggle it down how you want it. And I was able to get it, just put it back how I had it, to like that. And I'm okay with it, because it's mine. I think it looks fine. You put a drink on it, no one's going to notice. But clip them to keep them together. Because I showed you the other side of this, naturally, when I went to fold these two corners down, they're perfect. Figures,